Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul.
My virtual obsession, my romantic thriller, is now available on Amazon and other online retailers. This book explores the intersection of loneliness, love, and how chasing perfection through technology can lead to fantasy and reality colliding. My virtual obsession out now.
Hey everybody, it's Catherine Crestani with another episode of Willow Healing Matters, and today I'm joined by the beautiful Lynda Samphire. She's an intuitive guide and educator whose work centers on nervous system restoration, sleep, and dream intelligence. She weaves together neuroscience, dream work, and gentle microdosing practices to support emotional regulation. Her approach emphasizes restoration, embodiment, and integration, allowing insight and creative intelligence to emerge naturally rather than through force. So a big welcome to the show, Lynda.
Thank you. Excited to be here and have this conversation.
Well, there's so much in there I just want to unpack, especially about dreams. But I always love to ask people how they kind of came to doing the work that they're doing.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? How we align with what resonates. My mom passed when I was 2, and she would actually come to me in my dreams. And so since a little girl, I just realized that working with dreams and paying attention to my dreams is a way to connect with something larger than what we're seeing every day. And then that just grew and expanded. And I started realizing how much intelligence comes through while we're sleeping.
I love that. And I feel that too. Sometimes you have those dreams and you have to put together all the symbolism and you think, what was that? Right. And then other times you can have those dreams and you fully understand what's being shown. And I know for me, I feel like I've got 3 categories of dreams. Like I have the ones that are all the symbolism that I have to really think about. I have the ones that are so clear and I get the perfect understanding. And then I have the ones that are beyond a dream. It's more that soul connection or something going on with the soul that are, you can't even explain it. It's just almost a soul memory. Or I guess we could go to a whole completely woo section and go parallel lives or things like that.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting how much can happen in our subconscious.
Most definitely. I always look at dreams as just language of the soul. And yeah, it can come as some really crazy stuff. It's like, what was that? Why was I flying on a fish through the sky? Right. However, the symbols are so important and it is our language of the soul. And I feel it's very personal and individual to each person. And so as we begin to work with our dreams more, then we can decipher kind of what's happening. What do I need to look at? But in every single aspect of a dream is ourselves. I don't care what the dream is. There will be an aspect of ourself in there. And it's being shown for our own evolution, evolving, transforming through giving us kind of a strange little roadmap for waking. Yeah.
Yeah, which is so beautiful. I have so many questions popping in my head. Okay, thank you. They're like, say this one first. I was like, all right. So the first question is, what are common misconceptions that people have about interpreting dreams?
Well, gosh, that's a big one because there's so many. First of all, I'm going to start with nightmares because that's the big one, right? So nightmares, I look at them as a gift, and it really is that shadow self of us speaking, but we can get that mixed up with something bad's going to happen. Something's coming to get us, something evil or dark or someone in our waking life. And we make it about outside of ourselves rather than within. And it's really just screaming, saying, this is so important. Please listen. You're ready to move this. I used to have the symbol of Michael Myers from the horror movie Halloween. Used to show up a lot as my nightmare. There was at one point, and this went on for a while. So fear, right? We're looking at fear, ready to move. I actually pulled the mask off and behind it was my face and its fullest power. And I went, I'm afraid of my own power, and which a lot of us are coming into it, stepping into it. And, even just saying it right now, I can kind of feel the chills running through me and the vibration. So if we look deeper in what that fear is, we're going to see ourselves. And we can also just say, you know what, I hear you speaking, gentle, please. And that can kind of settle the nightmares down, especially those reoccurring ones.
How interesting. Because I'm a mom, I'm going to ask this question. So when our children are having nightmares, what's the most helpful way to kind of encourage them through it?
Yeah, I like that question because they're so scary, especially when we're children. I think just being able to hold space for them to unwrap it instead of just saying, oh, it's just a nightmare, it's not real. And to shift the perspective as a softening that there's something, coming through, and it's fear-based, but then not to be afraid of fear. As a child, we're not saying, well, you're afraid of your own power, because I don't think that's going to really resonate, but that you are protected and that you are loved and nothing horrible can ever get you. But I like art for kids to kind of draw everything out.
That's a beautiful way of framing that. I know for me, if I can get my son to talk about it and just share it, and sometimes he doesn't want to. And I said, well, sometimes talking about what happened can help you understand it. So,
Yeah.
because one he had recently was both my husband and I dying. So he was really, really sad. Like he was just crying. And I said, we will die one day. I can't tell you when, but and then I just made a joke of it because I said, I understand why that's scary. I said, but I'll come back and haunt you, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, really? I said, yeah. I said, if you're really missing me, I'll just slam the door a few times. And he's like, fine. But it was enough to shift him out of that full on getting stuck in the emotion of it and realizing like, okay, this is a possibility, but it doesn't have to happen right now. I'm seeing it happening as well.
And that's beautiful to bring up death in dreams, right? Someone dying or us dying, and difficult to kind of explain to a child, but I'm sure there's a way to present it when really it's just us. And it's an aspect of us that's ready to kind of move out, right? So let's say I have a dream of a friend of mine that dies. I want to look at that aspect of the friend and then see the aspect in me. And is that what's ready to move out? Death to part of the self integrating.
Yeah. I used to dream about my ex-husband dying, but I realized it was because that would be easier than having the courage to leave the marriage. I knew that was my head trying to say, we need to go. And yes, this would be the easy way instead. And then I used to have the other part of that was I was running. Like I was full on, and I hate running, Lynda. And I was full on bolting along this grass hill near our house. And I was like, I'm running away from this relationship rather than actually facing it and having the courage to say,
Perfect.
I need to leave, right?
Yeah. And you said it right there rather than facing it. And so when these really scary dreams, death, running away from something, what is it we're being asked to face in our waking life? And it's going to be much more simpler than that dream. It's actually going to play out a lot more smoother and stream through rather than the movie that we're seeing while we're sleeping.
I feel to segue here into lucid dreaming. So I'm just going to say, do you know much about that? I feel you would if you... So
I do. Yeah. It's, there's so many different types of dreams. So there's lucid, there's out of body, there's, an astral travel, and then there's contact. And lucid dreaming, you're dreaming. So you're waking up and you're dreaming. Different than out of body, where you're actually, someone might say, oh, I went to, I really swear I was in Italy. I've never been there before, but it looks exactly like what I saw in my dream. So then there's the travel. And then the contact dream is when we experience something where we know we're still in our bed, but we're actually contacted by another being, something in that. Yeah. So lucid dreaming, you definitely tell the difference. You're dreaming. So you're waking up and you're dreaming. One of the beautiful things to do about lucid dreaming is to say, well, am I dreaming or am I awake? There's going to be something in there that's not normal. Like maybe your hands are super long or super big. So then you're going to go, okay, I'm lucid dreaming. Or maybe a horse goes flying through the air with a pig's tail. Then we know that, okay, I'm lucid dreaming. But it feels real.
Like, or am I in another planet? No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can do these sign, have little signposts that know what's happening. And then the trick is a lot of times we jump and get fearful, and it puts us right back awake into the body. And so it's about learning to receive. I always figure all dreaming is learning how to receive in life. And then we can just learn to kind of play in there, work in there. It's a practice. I do more travel and contact than I do lucid dreaming.
Intriguing. I've only had a few lucid dreams, and I remember one. Yeah, okay, thank you. I remember I had this one dream, and for some reason I was building a cake with a group of people, right? Like constructing this massive, massive cake. And then I looked at it and I went, I can do that better. and I went off on my own with the same pieces, if you will, and I built a much better, bigger cake. And I went, what's this dream about? Like, it was this weird kind of lucid moment. And I turned around and my spirit team was there. And I said to them, are you trying to show me that it's okay for me to choose a different path because I can do it differently and it's still okay? And they said, yes, well done. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, thank you for that lesson, but it's not always that clear.
Yeah. And that is so beautiful because you could just see that playing out where here you are. It's all messy when you're working with other people, but there's this part of you that's such a leader and so independent that you can create something beautiful without needing to follow. So definitely beautiful.
Yeah. But I have had all the different types of dreams that you're talking about. But I think the biggest thing that frustrates me is that this ego in us, when we wake up from those dreams, it goes, I'll remember. And then, within 20 minutes, we've kind of forgotten, unless it's really profound. So do you have any tips for people in how to interpret their dreams?
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as the left brain comes on, it's almost like you try to chase the dream and it's getting farther and farther and farther away. It's really about lingering. There's a space we come into on the backside of sleep, and it's a liminal space. And if we can linger in that and let it play out, and it might disappear, and that's okay. Also, rolling over in the same position you woke up in. So a lot of times we roll over when we first wake up, roll back over in that, keeping your eyes closed. Stay away from looking at the clock or anything. And it can just be a minute lingering. Be the morning lingerer for a little bit. A lot of times you might fall back into the dream, or that's a good platform for lucid dreaming and out of body to go into it. So left brain comes on, we start forgetting. This goes for the middle of the night too. We really can say, oh, that's important. I'll remember that. And then we don't. So writing it down as quickly as possible, and really just the symbols, like a black dog, white cat, whatever, just so it can kind of trigger it later when we do have time to sit with it.
Yeah, I feel that's important. And then someone once told me the feelings are important as much as the symbols.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I'm in the middle of the Living Dream course right now. And there are a couple people that are saying, I know I'm dreaming, but I can't remember it. But I know I'm dreaming. And one thing to do is, yes, how did you feel the minute you woke up? And write down the feeling, because maybe you're being asked to see that first. And then secondly, I know I dream. I know I had a dream. If I could remember it, it was. And then write.
A prompt.
Yeah.
What do you say to people who say they can't dream or they don't dream?
That they do. Everybody dreams.
I do that too. That's what I say too.
Everybody dreams. Everybody dreams. Yeah. It's not that you're not. It's about remembering, and it's learning to listen to yourself. That's the whole key. And we're receiving messages from something larger than we are just in these human bodies. And it's a practice. It's a muscle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel it's really important that you bring up that aspect, because it is a muscle. And the more we tune in sometimes, but I will go to spirit before I go to sleep. I really need a deep sleep tonight. Please just let me sleep. And I do. I get that, because sometimes a lot happens in my subconscious whilst I'm sleeping, and you wake up feeling tired because you have gone through, I don't know, a massive upgrade or a massive healing journey. When you're meant to be sleeping. Or I feel to point that out too, because you can ask for a break if it has been a lot, because sometimes it does fry our nervous system as well.
Most definitely. Yeah, I asked for that. I've just gone through a lot. I'm in the middle of a move. My stepfather just passed, and I'm just exhausted. And I'm like, I just need to sleep tonight. I need deep sleep. Also to be held, just to be held. And every time I do that, I have beautiful sleep. My dreams, I'm dreaming, but I'm not remembering them, and that's fine. And I feel really refreshed in the morning. But we can also ask to be healed as we sleep. Yeah.
I do that often.
I do too.
Yeah. People are like, what? It's like, yeah, if you actually surrender your healing to the universe, they'll take you through healing. Sometimes I'll start and go into a little bit of a ritual, like I'll go connect in with my spirit team or something like that. And then I just drift off. But I know that they've got it. Especially I find if I fall into a deep sleep whilst that's happening, that I'm going to a very deep level. of healing. Or even if I'm working with a practitioner, I've had like online guided sessions where they were doing healing, and I've just drifted off and woken up like an hour later going, where am I? Then messaged the practitioner, I'm so sorry, I fell asleep. She's like, don't be sorry. It just means you went into that deeper level of healing. But a lot of healing can happen when we choose to surrender and put ourselves in that deeper state. But I feel it's so important to remember that it's okay to ask for it too.
Always. And, and that's really the most important part of it all, is the intention and what we put forward. And I love how you said you call in your spirit team. Many times I had an experience once, it was a contact experience where I was in the presence of just angels, big, enormous angels all around me. And I was completely awake and looking at them as I see you. I call them every time. I just say, okay, I just need to be held by the angels. And it's this part where you can just kind of feel your body just let go and be held. Yeah. Receive.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And my next question about is, if your nervous system, they asked me to bridge, if your nervous system is really dysregulated, does it make it harder to dream or to understand your dreams?
Well, I think if our nervous system is dysregulated, we're not really hitting a lot of REM sleep. We're not hitting that deep sleep, and it's intermittent sleep. Yes, because I don't think that's our focus either. I think if our nervous system is in hyperstate, we are constantly in that fight or flight. And so we may not even be paying attention to what's coming through, right? We may not have the capability at that point because it's not our focus. Yeah, most definitely. It's funny, I look at the central nervous system as being really, really important as the kind of the airport control tower of our system, and almost an antenna to spirit. And when that is off, that antenna seems a little doused. And so we're not receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because I guess from a spiritual point of view, our central nervous system is connected to our crown chakra, which is our antenna, right? To God, divine, universe, all that is, whatever resonates for, if you're listening, just put the word in there for you, and I guess this is where sometimes we have to pay attention to our body and what it's trying to say to us. And often, I know for me, if I'm in a state of heightened nervous system, or when I was really stressed and burnt out in my previous life, no, this life, but the previous walks, that it was, my dreams were really frantic, and they almost were like a mirror of what was happening in my walking life, because it was that energy just didn't have a chance to kind of let go. It just kept pushing through and kept pushing harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. So if something's uncomfortable, what do we tend to do? Run from it and not pay attention. That was me and Michael Myers. And I do, in that sense, I look at sleep hygiene and sleep as being our number one medicine, and really focusing on the sleep hygiene first and then moving into the dreams. It was kind of be a natural unfolding coming forward. And I do work with some plant medicine in that aspect with dreams and sleep medicine. So there's sleep hygiene.
Yeah. Can you explain a little bit more about what sleep hygiene actually means for people going, what?
Sleep hygiene. I'll just kind of go through. I'm a super light sleeper, so it's really important that I set my evening up for success. And I always take a shower. I take on so many energies. I take a shower at night, every single night. If I don't, my nervous system, my body's just like this. And so it's just rinsing off the day. A lot of people will just say like a type of prayer, or create a ritual and a mantra, and learning how to just relax the body and be safe. A lot of times our nervous systems are so heightened because it doesn't feel safe to just let go.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I shower at night too. I changed for a little bit and used to do mornings, because just me changing for other people. But then I went back to nighttime showers. And then when I started dating my husband now, he's like, why wouldn't you want to wash off the day? Like exactly like you said, why wouldn't you want to wash off the energies? And because water can be so restorative and clearing that we don't even realize the deeper level it's working just by standing in that shower.
It's amazing how you can feel like, this day, or the heaviness or the tiredness. You take a shower and it shifts everything. A lot of times I'll walk and then shower, go out for a walk and then shower, and it just changes everything. Are we getting sunlight first thing in the morning to hit that and kind of bring that circadian rhythm in? That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
The
And
foods we
actually
eat.
doing the sun gazing, which I know people are like, what? But if you look at the sun with your eyes closed very early in the morning, it's so beneficial on so many
Mm,
levels.
yes, beautiful. And just standing barefoot on the earth.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. And then I feel to ask too, Lynda, how does microdosing come into play when you're working with your clients?
Yeah, so I work with mainly two different medicines, mushrooms, amanita and psilocybin. So Amanita muscaria is a beautiful mushroom. It's the red and white iconic mushroom and works with our central nervous system directly. So is agonist to GABA. And so what happens is if our nervous system is revved up, where our glutamate pedal is down, the on switch to the brain, GABA is our off switch, but if it's overexhausted, it's not working. Amanita is agonist to GABA. So brain grabs onto it, soothing our nervous system. And I normally start people out on that one 30 days straight just to get their nervous system moving in and then moving into psilocybin, where we're working more with the serotonin receptors. And we're looking at working with emotions, moving things that aren't serving us, and heightened creativity, which both of the mushrooms do. Because if our nervous system is settled, then we're automatically more aligned with our creativity and what we're here to do. So psilocybin works more with our brain and the neural pathways. Amanita works more with that central nervous system. So promoting sleep, amplifying dreams, restoring the body. I look at her as the restoration, and then, which is so needed right now in our world of chaos. And then psilocybin, the body's restored enough for psilocybin to come in and do its work. So I look at Amanita as aerating and the soil, and psilocybin is tilling.
Yeah, beautiful. And I love that you explain that so beautifully too, because if your nervous system's gone, it's really hard to do emotional work because you're just in fight or flight already, right? Or freeze. Like nothing's
Yeah.
going to shift because you're already in a heightened state.
Yeah. And you can see it a lot when people do all their work, right? They're doing yoga, they're walking, they're meditating, they're going to retreats, but it's not lasting. And I think it's that nervous system still gripping. And the nervous system has to feel safe enough to just be able to let go. Amanita is beautiful for that. And I think I said that wrong because it's actually Amanita tilling the soil and then psilocybin aerates. Because if we get super uncomfortable, microdosing can create uncomfortability because we're moving resistance. And with the nervous system soothed down, then it allows for the being safe in the body and the remembering to start happening.
I just got this image of, we've got two types of yoga. We've got yin yoga and yang yoga. So for anyone not sure what the difference is, the yin yoga is very slow. It's like very much opening up all your emotional pathways. We've got yang yoga, which is like run, 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 run. So when I first did yin yoga, I had all these emotions come out. And even now, sometimes I'll do like a hip opening and it just releases all these emotions into
Isn't that
my
crazy?
system. I know, just by laying there with a block under you, right? And it's just...
Yeah, I know. I swear by yin yoga. I put that alongside my microdosing practices and I suggest it to people. And yeah, it's so powerful, but you can feel at times that you just want to jump out of your body because you can feel the resistance starting to move. Microdosing kind of amplifies that a little bit.
Yeah. And then kind of just, and I feel like it was just a nice parallel because it is the same kind of thing. It's like you have to have a pathway to open up yourself because sometimes we close ourselves and shut ourselves down so much. And especially when we're in that reactive state, that it's really hard to do the work you need to do. And you need to find a kind of a doorway to open it so that you, in a gentle way, not just throw it open because that is just going to send you into super fight. It's like, whoa, this is too much. Like, I can't handle this right now. And much like, your dreams can build up in intensity if you keep ignoring the meaning and the symbols underneath it. I feel it's the same, like as a reflection of like, we've got to build up our tolerance to being able to do the healing and do the work because, when you
all
rip
at once is going to throw you sideways, right? We don't want it. And I think that's part of our evolving. Aren't we supposed to receive? And, that's just part of it. You receive what you're ready for.
Yes, exactly. I have a friend and he went through like 2 years worth of veils in one night, and he wasn't okay. Like, he had like 3 or 4 healers working on him, and he goes, I don't recommend it. And I guess this is what we're trying to contrast, right? Like, it's better off doing it gradually and building it up and allowing your system to regulate again, so rather than just throwing the switch and going, then it's full on.
And I think like that's why microdosing I think is beautiful instead of these high peak performances. I've had that happen too, where so much has been received so quickly that the uncomfortability of it can feel, because you're messing with your identity, right? You're shifting your identity, and to take that away so quickly, it almost feels like psychosis. And so with microdosing, you're almost preparing the vessel for that to unfold. And so less is more is what I always say. And even in the dream world, we just did in my living dream, we do PLRs and we did some soul timeline work. And even just doing that was so powerful. It took a moment for people to ground out of that. And so I can imagine what you're saying with your friend, just all that coming on. I'm glad he had healers around him to help, but most people don't.
No.
Yeah.
And I guess this is where it's good to have a support team in place, however that looks, and, creating that beautiful space that, you can go to when you're going through something, because sometimes you are ready for it, but you just need a hand to hold you as you go through the thick of it.
The container. Yeah. A place to just feel like you can be safe. That's what it was for me. I needed to know I was safe, and all this weirdness that was happening was normal and okay, whatever normal is, and that I was safe moving through it. That was key, because if you're not, you're going to clench up and go into resistance. Yeah.
And then nothing shifts.
And then you're just kind of like feeling really uncomfortable. Yeah. So the container and having space hold by someone who is experienced and has been through it themselves. Yeah.
Yes, I feel that's really important, having someone that's been through it, because, there's a lot of, I've talked about this before. It's like, you can't be a life coach just because you did a degree. It doesn't mean that you can, especially if you're 20 and you've had no traumatic life experiences. And I'm not saying everyone has to go through trauma, but I know at 20, I didn't go through much. It was, apart from rebelling against my parents, maybe, but apart from that, like, you have to live life and you have your story, but just because you do a certificate doesn't mean that that's it. So trust people who have been lived experience and what they've been through as well.
Yeah, there's no textbook for it. Now, 20, I have a lot of experiences that were pretty uncomfortable. However, at age 20, I was still in the thick of it. Like, there's no way. Yeah, I would not at age 20 have probably been your best guide. I was still figuring myself out.
And I'm not discounting those 20-year-olds who are incredibly old souls and been through so much by the time they get there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, just because you do a certificate doesn't mean you're a master in whatever it is you've done.
No, agreed. I know a lot of evolved 20 years old. So.
Yeah. And as we start to finish our time together, Lynda, I asked the guests that come on the show, if you could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
For us to really realize, we do not realize how powerful we are in here, and we keep outsourcing. So to really begin to listen to ourselves, remember who we are at the heart, at the core, and remain curious about that. There's no right or wrong way. And to realize that we have everything we need right here, and we keep going out here. It needs to come in here. So
100%.
Yeah.
And if people want to come and work with you, Lynda, or find out more about your Living Dream course, where can they go?
To my website. And I also just developed a really cool tool. I've been working on it for the last year, and it's a dream decoder. So you can go in for free right now and put your dream in, and it'll give you how I would work with your dream. And it'll pick out symbols. It'll tell you what to work on, what to incubate, possibly in your next dream. So it's a super cool tool. And then, I have a dream series that you can just work on your own with too. So there's some different ways.
Amazing. And I'll make sure to pop that in the show notes. And that is very cool. You've created a dream decoder. I used to have an app that you could look up like symbols in your dream and that sort of thing. And it was okay, but sometimes it was helpful to try and put together if it was really weird.
Oh, you have
And
to
I
try
remember,
this one.
okay, I will.
Try it.
I will
Yeah,
because I'm curious.
it's a
Yeah.
whole reading on you. And I'm super passionate about it because I spent so much time, I spent a year kind of creating it. So it was my voice and me. And yeah, so it's kind of, I love it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so you should. I'm excited to go to play with it.
Yeah. And then everybody keep a journal by your bed.
Yes.
Just keep a dream journal by your bed always. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And because our ego will say, we'll remember it, but we
Yeah.
really won't.
No, you won't. And there's something there. And then it might show up in your waking life. Like I see that a lot start happening. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
So
thank you so much,
thank
Lynda, for
you so
sharing.
much. Yeah. This was lovely conversation.
Thank you. And for everyone listening, if you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to like, share, or subscribe. If you want to go check out Lynda's Dream Decoder, please do check out the links in the show notes and go connect with her there. And thank you so much for tuning in. And Lynda, thank you so much for having a conversation about dreams, but not the dreams that we're living a waking life, those ones that are happening while we're asleep.
Thank you so much.
Hey, beautiful souls. It is Catherine Crestani here, and I wanted to have a chat with you about a really amazing cacao that I drink to help me get in ceremony, to help me ground, but also just because it tastes freaking good. So if you're curious and want to know about drinking something other than coffee or your standard tea, why not check out Creation Cacao? I love this with a bit of honey and cinnamon sprinkled in and just letting it brew and having that whole intention as you create this cup. So if you're curious and want to know more, check out the link in the show notes and in the bio and enjoy your cup of cacao.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.